looks really different. So I started watching individuals who are successful at Ideo. What makes someone successful? What makes someone feel frustrated? What makes someone leave? What are the differences? And this idea of reciprocity is, again, pretty important to think about, because we're thinking about in the terms of someone who's adapted to the environment where everyone's equal and everyone has to share, not someone where there's power, position, power, and authority based on your role. So if you're a high-level person at Ideo, you don't have any authority to tell someone else what to do. You could try, and you certainly have big responsibilities for P&L and for client accounts and things like that, but those people that try to go off and be command, control, or directive typically don't do very well. They're not operating properly. What we discovered was this thing we call the atomic organization. Successful people have multiple affiliations in the company. They have typically 4, sometimes as many as 7. Very few people that I've seen as long-term successful have any less than 4, although when you're early in your experience, having 3 is pretty common. Those folks that have 1 or 2, in other words, I belong to the design community of Palo Alto. If that's my one affiliation, I'm not going to be very successful at Ideo. I also have to belong to a discipline like industrial design or mechanical engineering and be actively participating in both. Now what's underneath that is the design community is how you work in terms of you get on a team that's staffed out of that group. It's like a supplied pool for the talent. But the discipline is where you get the quality of your approach. So if you're a mechanical engineer and the other mechanical engineers don't think you're good and you're not participating in their community, then you don't have a quality control governance thing going on. So you're at the center, you have discipline, you have what we also call a passion, a type of business that you're interested in. This is common in professional services firms called a vertical market or a domain. So if I'm a typical designer at Ideo, I work in Palo Alto in a design community there. I'm in the discipline of organization design or behavioral economics, and I'm really interested in the domain of healthcare, for example. So I would be really focusing on how to use my discipline on projects in Palo Alto for that domain. And I'd have to participate fully in all 3 of those and be considered by other people in that group as an active member to be having a strong orbit. An orbit, again, is a group of people. And so for each person, if I'm the person in the middle, the vertical here, let's say that's the organization design one, that would be about 15 to 20 people when it's strong. So ultimately I have 3 or 4 orbits of 15 to 20 people, so I end up with somewhere around 60 to 80 people, and that's my company. And that company can help me make a decision, can help me get something done. It can help me get the work I want to get. It can help me deliver the work I need to deliver. It can help me develop my career. It can help me get better. So we focus people when they're struggling and they're not feeling successful. We start with this. We actually make a map. We have them draw their organization and say, where are the people that can help you? And instead of developing individual competencies, we have them develop their organization chart so that they have a stronger set of people to work with to deliver on what they need to deliver. So we don't do training on skills usually. We do some of that. But mostly we do interactions with these. So what piece of work could you take to this person so that you could work on it together to make it better? And so through a tangible work transaction, that boundary object is the piece of work. Go find some more people that you don't know and improve your network. And so it's not just a random social network. It actually has some structure to it that's prescribed. If you have the right structure, you can actually get stuff done. If you don't have the right structure, it's very difficult to get stuff done. The last thing I'll say about this is there's 3 other yellow ones in there. There's a small set of people usually surrounding each person called their advisors. I call them their advisors. They don't. They're a set of people that help them interpret what's going on inside the organization. So you can't do it yourself. It's very difficult to perceive this organization without someone else to help you. We give everybody at least one called a business lead, or typically that's your boss, but they don't tell you what to do, they just help you figure out what to do. And it also includes, as a feature in it, people who are not part of Ideo. So a really good orbit actually has people outside of Ideo as well. So for me, organization design, at least 20 or 30% of my organization is outside of Ideo because it's a new discipline at Ideo, and a lot of who I spend time with are not at Ideo. So in that orbit, I can think about internal, I can think about a mentor, an advisor, and I can think about somebody that's outside, and that makes me have a strong orbit for that particular dimension. So that's how we focus on leadership development more than anything. It's a group outcome versus an individual competency. Any thoughts on that real quick? I know that's another...